Hello everyone, this is Professor Sade. I'm here to talk to you about IM, sub-Q, and ID. And I came up with a mnemonic that will help you to remember what kind of needle gauges that you will need if you are giving a sub-Q, IM, or ID. The hospital where we were at the Holy Cross Hospital, they have different, they were color-coded needle gauges, and it was difficult for the student to know which one is for sub-Q, which one is for IM. So right over here is the mnemonic, and you say you bless people with gift. And right over we have 24 gauge over here. This is the yellow, and it's a 1-inch length needle. And right over here it's blue or gray. It's a 22 gauge. Right over on the pink is a 20 gauge. It's also a 1-inch. So remember, they're all 1 inch, one inch the way it is. And then green is 18 gauge, which is 1 to 1.5 inches in the length. So hopefully, at least this will help you to remember how to pick the gauges. It's not cast in stone that every hospital that you go to, this will be the same, because depending on the manufacturer, some places you see a 24, it will be black. So this is just something, if you're in that area and if you're in that hospital, that's what they use. So some places, Shady Grove might be different, Suburban might be different. So just for you to have that, to remember that. And moving forward, I'd like to talk to you about 3 considerations that you need to put in place before you give medication or administer a sub-Q or IM or ID. So number 1 is the viscosity of the medication. Is it the thickness or the viscosity of the medication? So if you're giving a medication that is an oil-based or hormone-based, if you're giving an hormone medication or oil-based medication, you will want to use a larger gauge needle, or 18 to 20 gauge needle would be a good one to use. Or if you're giving a thin based medication, like let's say a Demerol, it's a narcotic, you can use a 25 gauge needle, because mostly you give that IM. So the second consideration would be the size of the of the syringe that you're going to choose. So let's say this is a tuberculin syringe. So most of the time we use this for TB tests. So this is a 1 ml syringe. So, and a lot of the time we give 0.5. So this is fine. So this is 0.5 over here that you'll be able to give to your patient. And then this is good to use. And the next consideration that you need to put in place is, if you're giving a TB, it's okay to use 1 ml because you're giving 0.5. But if you're giving something higher than that, like you're giving a 2 ml, so you'll be better off to use a 3 ml syringe like this. So you can use that. I didn't expect you to have needles in the house. You're not supposed to. These are needles that I use for my kids. So I came up with all these props. So this is a pencil, and this is a 20 gauge. And this one is an 18 gauge, and this one is a 24 gauge needle. So you can use the top over for you to start practicing, and you can practice on, I have a lemon, and I have an orange, and I have a teddy bear. So you have all these props in the house to use. So moving along, sorry for the distraction. So the third consideration will be the location where you're going to put the medication. So you'll be very careful. Make sure the location does not have any pigmentation, any soreness, any rashes, any scars, because it will affect the absorption of the medication. So I have some pages from Taylor. So hopefully there's some pictures. So hopefully at least this will help you. I don't know if anybody has, you still have your Taylor at home. So you'll be able to reference this. So on page 155 of Taylor, I have the the different angles of where to place your needle when you're giving injections. So you just have the angles over there. So you have the one for a sub-Q, you have the one for IM on ID. So you see all the angles. You have 15-degree angle, 90-degree, 45, and 72. So they're over here. So you can use this. And moving along is our next page is the medication, the sites to give for IM. So you have all the sites over there, the ventrogluteal, the vastus lateralis, and the deltoid. It's over there too. Last but not the least will be where we will put the insulin. Oh God, I have this, So insulin we can also put in the belly. So you can use you can use, if you have a doll or teddy bear at home, so you can use that in the belly. So you want to make sure that you are dividing the abdomen into 4 quadrants, and then you're rotating the site as you give it. And also another site that you can put it in is the outer aspect of the upper arm, right over here. So you can also do that for a sub-Q. So if you are given an ID, so this is a patient, so you already ID the patient, and you have gotten consent, because we're going to give a TB test, so you have to get a consent. And this medication is usually inside the refrigerator, so you want to make sure you check the expiration date, and then you draw your medication to go to your patient. So you wipe, and you don't want to be blowing, and you don't want to be fanning, because you don't want to introduce any bacteria to your patient. So you wipe it, and once it's dry, then you have the bevel up. Bevel needs to be up, and you pinch to about 1/8. Then insert the medication. Most of you are supposed to see a bleb or wheal or bubble. So if you don't see any of those, it tells me that your needle is inside. You have gone too far. You went to the sub-Q. You are supposed to do intradermal. So you need to redo the test. Or if you should put your you should insert your needle, and you saw the medication seeping out, then it tells me that you didn't pick the skin enough for you to be able to insert that medication inside the under the skin. So it tells me you've wasted the medication. Now you need to redo it again. So those are clues that you need to remember when you're giving an ID medication. And what's the angle for an ID? 5 to 15 degrees. Don't forget. And then the next one will be a sub-Q, which is our insulin syringe. So what's the angle for a sub-Q? The angle is what? Okay, 45 degrees to 90 degrees. Very good. All right, so you wipe the place, you wipe the site, make sure, let it dry. We're not doing any fanning, and we're not blowing. So you have your needle. I was taught like this, but some people are taught like this. So it's fine. So go all the way down, and 45, that's 90 degrees, and that's 45. So remember, please don't forget to activate the guard, please, so that you can put this into the needle box. You never recap the needle. Just put them straight right in there. And if you're giving an IM, so this is an IM needle, and this is a 27 gauge needle. So what's the angle for an IM again? 90 and 72. Very good. All right. So you go up, down, 90, and you don't want to drag it to come out, because sometimes you say, oh, I don't want to hurt the patient, but if you drag it, you're going to hurt the patient the more. So please don't do that. So 90 in and out and up like this. So you want to activate the guard. Please activate the guard by, mostly I told my students to use their thumb to make sure, activate the guard like this, up, and then you put it inside the red box. Well, I hope this has been helpful. So keep practicing, and remember, you bless people with gifts. So that will make you remember your your needle gauge, the diameter of the needle, or the lumen. So that's what it means when we're talking about needle gauges. Diameter, the lumen of the lumen of the needle. So right over here, you see the hole. That's what I'm talking about. Just the hole right there. All right. So keep on practicing and remain safe. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm Professor Sade. Thank you.